We're still in the engineering lab, just moving around at different tech bench. This is Larry's bench. Larry does a lot of the repair, some of the design work here at PS Audio, and I just picked this up. So here, look at this cool piece. See this guy? This is a headphone amplifier. So inside the BHK signature preamplifier, we use connecting transformers. These are really high-end transformers. And then all of these heat sinks on here are all for the MOSFETs that drive the output. And at the end of the day, everything comes out of this headphone jack. So you can see the BHK headphone. Yeah. The question today concerns our Stellar line. So we have a line of products that we call entry level, and I hate that term because it sounds so, I don't know. I wish there was a better term for it. The Stellar line is something I would gladly and do listen to on a regular basis. I love it. They're great products, but they're affordable. They run from 1,500 to 1,900, something like that. There's amps and preamps, and it's a great line. People buy that, and they don't really need anything else. Some people go up into a BHK series, but Stellar is how you get into PS Audio, or you could get into our little $500 Sprout, which is awesome product too. But anyway, so the question comes from Tom Aiken in South Carolina, and Tom writes, Paul, I like the idea of Stellar making PS Audio products available to a wider audience of fans and listeners. Yep, I agree with you, Tom. Are there any plans brewing to offer a Stellar integrated amp with a DAC inside? I owned a number of PS Audio products through the years, including an original 4H, and have thoroughly enjoyed them all. Well, thank you. And yeah, actually, there is. And sometime in 2018, we'll probably come out with it. We'll show you. This is, on Larry. Now, please, this is the bottom half of the Stellar. This is one of the amplifiers. This is just, I just grabbed this out of engineering. It's not even painted or anything. But I just wanted to show you what's inside. This is a Stellar amplifier. This is our stereo amplifier, although most people wind up buying the monoblocks. But these are ICE modules. These are 300-watt amplifier ICE modules. They're complete. They have power supplies, amps, Class D. And then up here, this is what makes this product kind of unique, is you see these analog cells? These are a FET, F-E-T, field effect transistor based, and field effect transistors, as we've gone over in the past, are very much like tubes, as close to a tube as you're going to get in solid state. So these are the actual gain stages. So when sound comes in, back through here, it goes straight into the analog cells. Here is where the sound quality is formed. This gives it this warm tube-like sound. And then these, the ICE modules, convert that over to watts, and they are very neutral sounding. That's why we like them. Very neutral sounding. They don't impart a lot of sound on their own, but this does. This does have the warmth and musicality that we look for in an amplifier. And this is the area that we spent, especially engineer Darren Meyer, spent a long time tuning and listening. He and I together went and got this section right so that these sounded right. And so this is a 300-watt stereo. It's actually dual mono because these are complete power supply. These are two mono block amplifiers inside of one chassis being fed by that. Anyway, that's a Stellar 300. Integrated amplifiers are interesting because typically manufacturers build integrated amplifiers, as we did with Sprout, to a price point. And they are usually using a singular power supply. And you get to lower the cost on an integrated because instead of separates with individual components with individual power supplies and chassis all grouped together with interconnect cables. And integrated is one box, usually one power supply, sometimes two, everything interconnected inside to save money. And not only does it save money, but to be able to take one box, hook it up, speakers on one end, a turntable, whatever you want on the other end, that's really very convenient. But integrateds are typically compromises. They're compromised because instead of building with the advantages of separates, which I just detailed, the separate power supplies and chassis and all the isolation that brings, we're jamming everything into one box. So one of the things we've been working on the Stellar Integrated is how do we build an integrated amplifier that really isn't compromised, that is simply this with its own power supplies and a DAC and all that with its own power supply built in, so that really the only differences would be the fact that they're all in one chassis and they don't have the advantage of this separation of chassis for noise and whatnot. And I think that's what we're finally coming around to. I think we're going to be able to take these separate blocks and add the gain cell DAC with its own power supply into a single box and make that work. It's been a struggle. We're working on it. It's not easy, and it won't ever be as good as separates, but if we can get it 90%, 95%, that's pretty darn good, and I think I'd be happy with that. So if we can make that sonic achievement, we will do that and come out with the Stellar Integrated. I don't know anything about price, because right now we're not worried about price. We're just going to try and make the best we know how to do, get it sounding right, functioning right, and then we'll see what it costs. All right, thanks. Appreciate the question. Talk to you tomorrow.